Hey guys, how are you doing? A lot of people ask about one question lately, especially yesterday on the video, but even from past there were questions like, what is that carbidizing we always talk about with Tough Thumbs and a couple other people? And I remember I did some research back then when I didn't know also what it is, how it's done, and what it does. Now, don't quote me on everything, I don't remember all the exact numbers and everything, all the science. It's not that important. The important thing is just the basic inner workings of it, you know, how it is, what it does, and what's the advantages, what's the disadvantages, at least in my opinion. Now, titanium itself is alloy. It's pretty much based off, I think, mostly aluminum, and other, you know, some small percent of the other rare metals, all joined together creates titanium. There's a lot of different types of titanium, you know, a lot of stuff is from army. There's the knife maker grade, then you have that what is it, whatever, 6V, I don't even know the numbers. That's the one that you see most, you know, often on the knives. I actually have couple knives that are made from, you know, I would say unknown army titanium, and they hold exceptionally well. I think they even hold better than, you know, stuff, original knife making stuff what like Warren Thomas does. They hold really well, and they are very very thick. They are 1/4 inch thick. Now, titanium on its own has hardness, Rockwell hardness about 40-45, I think. Again, don't you know, dwell on the numbers so much. It's not so important. It's softer, you know. It's much harder than annealed metal, but it's a lot softer than heat-treated metal, steel. Now, so what it does is it behaves just as another metal. You know, you can sharpen it. The only thing is it will not hold that edge very well, not at all actually. But you are able to sharpen titanium knife that does not have a carbidizing. I actually have right now only this one example. I saw those self-defense knives. This is one example of uncarbidized edge on titanium. Now, it can definitely do a nice amount of cuts, you know. It's not like you're gonna cut 2 papers or 2 cardboards and it's gonna go dull. Definitely not. It will stay sharp long, and it can be sharp enough to actually push cut paper. Even so sharp that you can actually slice magazine paper pretty successfully. Push cutting magazine paper. So the edge on titanium, just on its own, it's actually pretty sharp. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can hear it and see it. I guess you can, no? It pops hair fairly easy. You know, definitely nothing as close as I can get the regular steel. Definitely not, I'll admit that. Regular steel is much finer edge. You can get much finer edge. One thing what I've noticed with titanium knives, especially on the carbidizing, even on pretty much every knife maker does the carbidizing. Me personally, I would probably drop it, because in my opinion titanium knives are kind of like a backup things. It's not a knife that you would actually use, hard use on everyday basis on something. So that one purpose, that little bit of use that you get out of that edge, I think it's plenty enough uncarbidized. And you know, I would take that the sharpness, the absolute sharpness you can get out of that knife over the longevity of the edge. You know, I would prefer the sharpness over the longevity, because I can just resharpen. It's not something that I will go to the woods with and use it, you know. It's something that I will use in a pinch. You know, I have a little neck knives. I used to carry this one a lot because I just love it. It's more of like a jewelry, but it can cut really well. I used to carry my Warren Thomas a lot. That guy's seen a lot of use. I would probably say that more than most of the Warren Thomas knives users or owners, no? I've carried this one. I made this one myself. It is carbidized. One problem that I find with them, even especially Warren Thomas, is the biggest name in the titanium knives. They put the really steep bevels. The secondary bevel is really steep, so it will not cut a lot. It won't cut a lot, and it is a little tricky to sharpen knives. You know, you just have to find that way. For me now, it's pretty easy, but you have to play with it too, you know, before you get it right. And I found that it's actually better just knock off that secondary bevel on all the titanium knives. do it convex or Scandi, and just knock that, do the micro, you know, micro bevel. Now you see how lean this grind is. Let me try to get it on camera. This is super thin piece of titanium with super lean, you know, it's not high, but for thickness, you see how high that is, where it starts? For the thickness of titanium, it actually is very, very lean. Now titanium itself, if you leave that edge so fine, it would not support it. You would cut into the wood and you would bend it. So what I do, like once I grind it, I just knock off the bevel, you know, secondary bevel, micro bevel, like this. A lot of people do it on even on the regular knives, but on titanium it's kind of must, because you would bend it very easily. So what I do is just, you know, either this medium rod or ceramic rod, won't really make a difference. Just run it like this on both sides to make sure that get rid of the burr, and I can actually strap it after that, no? And that's all it takes to get it really nice and sharp. Carbidizing is, most of the time you see titanium knives have bevel, secondary bevel only on one side, the other side is flat. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but for the purpose of the carbidizing it is better to have it flat, because carbidizing is tungsten carbide. It's a little rod that you put into the special machine that is pretty much made from the Dremel, from the etching Dremel, and you create a circuit. It's wired to create a circuit, you put a clamp on it, and you're pretty much actually welding little tiny layers of that tungsten carbide onto the edge. That's why it's called carbidizing, from tungsten carbide. Now, like I said, titanium itself has about 40-45 HRC. If you put that layer of that tungsten carbide on the edge, it creates the tungsten carbide has around 70 HRC hardness. So what you end up having is a very, very strong, very hard one side of the blade, and then the soft side titanium. They call it a beaver effect, beaver teeth effect. As you use the knife, the soft side gets worn out, but the strong side, you know, keeps on going. That's what keeps the edge, and this side gets worn out. So it pretty much like, and then it breaks away, you know, kind of only this side keeps breaking away, but this side stays straight, and that keeps the cutting edge. So this goes, you know, like if you let me draw it for you. You have the edge like this, right? This is the carbidized, and this is just a titanium. And as you use it, this will keep just disappearing, but this side always stays straight and strong, you know, and sharp. So you just keep working, you know, taking off the titanium from this side as you use it, but you still have the edge there, the basic edge. Just that rough example of it. Now, the machines are not expensive. You can do cool designs like this, and it will stay reasonably sharp for a reasonable amount of time. If you look, I have couple tests. I actually have, if I remember right, I have a videos of testing of the knife that has the carbidizing. I think it was this one actually. And I also have the test of the knife, titanium knife without carbidizing, that one purpose, you know, self-defense knife that I made. I'm gonna link them in the descriptions. If I remember right, I have them both in my video, so you can check it. You can see what it actually can do, what it cannot do. And just example, I have it here. Even this super thin titanium uncarbidized edge can actually handle tasks like whittling, cutting into wood, and it's actually nice little mean cutter for how small it is. It actually can cut pretty damn well without bending that edge. You know, that edge won't get really damaged unless you hit something really hard in that wood. If it's regular nice soft wood, or just regular, not crazy hard wood, it will keep cutting. It will get dull a little bit, but it literally takes, you know, no time at all to run it over the rod like this, or even the rough, very rough diamond file. You know, diamond file like, where do I have it here? Even diamond file like this. Let me show you on this one. This is one with the carbidized edge. If you have carbidized edge, all you have to do is just run that bevel on that, you know, file or rod. Just make it nice and toothy. That's actually why these edges, the carbidized edges, cannot get that sharp, because they are more toothier. Remember, you have welded stuff. You have welded something really hard on one side, so that very end of the edge, the actual cutting edge, will never be as fine as when you don't have that stuff there, because you can, you know, refine it on both sides. This side, imagine like you were trying to sharpen a file. Imagine a file, you're trying to sharpen a file, but you still keep this side, that file side, and you're trying to sharpen this, like do a chisel grind on the file while keeping this. So that's pretty much the same case. But you see, I just ran it over the diamond file, and it still can slice paper nicely. Slice, not push. You will pretty much never be able to push cut with the carbidized edge. It's a nice slicing edge, working edge. You can actually, let me see this one, paper towel. I don't know if I'm gonna get it now, but you can actually, with the right motion, you see, carbidized edge, you can actually slice through paper towel. That's why many times I chuckle a little bit on the paper towel test, because paper towel is really more about the technique and how thin the knife is. It's not so much about the actual cutting edge of a knife, it's more about the technique. Because to make it look nice, to slice the paper towel, it's not all that hard. The wet paper towel is different, but like you see, I can make even titanium knife look like it's slicing paper towel. Pretty nice, no? You can see that it looks pretty clean. So there are not knives that you would be using on everyday basis, definitely not. But it's not bad to have, you know, like in my case, I have my pocket knife in my pocket, and I have a little titanium neck knives, because those are very, very light compared to the regular, you know, neck knife, you know. Let's say this one, it's 1/4 inch thick beast, it's 3-inch long blade, so, and it's pretty much exact size of Izula, but it's 1/4 inch thick. That's almost twice as thick as Izula is, almost, you know, a little less than twice, but almost. And it weighs less than Izula, so, you know, it kind of tells you something. And I like it, you know, just a little, plus you can make them really cool. If you're going just as that backup or collector, they definitely have that big cool factor. You know, they are, most of the time they are pretty pricey, and I'm just fortunate enough that I have friends that made some. I made some, I got some material, and I bought this one. But I grew to like it. In a certain way, I grew to like titanium, you know. It's not bad, you know. I probably wouldn't like it as much as if I would have to actually buy all of them, if I didn't make them and didn't just buy the material. But I grew to like it. They definitely have that cool factor, and they do work, you know. They will not work as great as regular knives, but they do work. Now, oh, one thing I forgot. You cannot heat treat titanium. It just, you know, it hardens by work a little bit to a certain degree, but not much. But you cannot heat treat it. There are knife companies that have some kind of special alloy, titanium alloy, that are heat treated. I think mission knives, mission spec knives or something like that. I think their knives are some kind of special titanium alloy that is actually heat treated somehow or hardened somehow. I'm not sure, I didn't test them, but I heard pretty good you know, words about them from my friends that did play with them. So hope this answers some of your questions, guys. Like I said, if you're interested, check out those videos, the test videos, to see what they actually can do and cannot do. Thank you for watching, hope it wasn't annoying. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.